gum tree sitting along that fence. Big branches spreading shade all over the benches where the sitters and spitters and whittlers would sit on an afternoon. And there was an old grease rack there. Now that store was just an old 3-room whitewashed building, and it's back down at the lost my place here, sorry about that. Anyway, he would get lots of tourists there, and a Greyhound bus would stop there twice a day and 3 times on Sunday. Now Mr. Bass had built 2 privies for the convenience of his patrons. Now 2-hole privy was a sign of rich folks in Little Long County, Georgia. But 3 holes was unheard of. Mr. Bass built 2 3-hole privies for the convenience of his patrons, and they were the pride and joy of all of us in Little Long County, Georgia. Now in 1957, when me and Dammit Ray was 14 years old, Ray had mailed off and got him one of them kits from Jacksonville, Florida, where you get radio and a loudspeaker. Wish he was here to make another one. Dammit Ray liked electrical things. He was a tinker and he fooled with things all the time. And he built that kit, and when he finished, he had a radio that could pick up from WSB in Atlanta and WBT in Charlotte and Grand Ole Opry on WSM and WWL out in New Orleans. We used to get together at night and listen to mystery programs like Grand Central Station and Mr. District Attorney and Inner Sanctum and The Shadow, and every now and then Ray would pick up that microphone and flip that switch and holler in there like to scare us right out of our drawers. Well, one week Mr. Bass went into Savannah on the bus. Now he come back, he was the most thrilled man. He had been to the Greyhound bus station in Atlanta, Georgia, and they had them a loudspeaker PA system where they could announce when the bus was going to leave. And he went and bought one of them kits and brought it back to me and Dammit Ray and said, build me one of them loudspeaker systems where we can use at the Rainbow Filling Station garage and grocery store. So we spent the next 2 weeks and we built that loudspeaker system. Welcome to Big Day. We got there and we strung wires all over that station. And Mr. Bass had gone to an old junkyard and got about 6 old speakers out of an old car junkyard. And we put speakers up under the eaves of the store. We'd put speakers on that whitewashed 2-rail fence leading back to them privies, and we put speakers in the privies. Well, Saturday morning was going to be the big day. We all got down there about 10 o'clock, and Mr. Green was there. Dammit Ray's daddy was there, and I was there, and my daddy was there. You can't imagine, half of Long County, Georgia was there for the celebration. The first day we was going to use the loudspeaker system. Well, we got there about 10 o'clock, and the bus wasn't doing it until 11, and we all wanted to be there early so we wouldn't miss anything. And folks were milling around and drinking them knee-high sodas, and a few fellas that started a little early on some of that wonderful corn liquor that was made down there. There was a old black and tan coonhound laying there by that fence. He had mange in the infected ear, and he was laying right in the middle of that path. Folks were swapping stories and waiting on that bus to come in from Savannah. Well, at 11:10, that bus pulled in, and all them folks let out a little cheer. And the folks come piling off that bus, and they was all smiling and grinning, and wondering what was going on. And that bus driver got off, and we told him what was happening. And he was from Drawdy, Georgia, his own self, and that ain't as big as Ludowici, so he was delighted. Well, we were standing around and having a time, and Dammit Ray and I was manning the microphone inside the Rainbow Filling Station garage and grocery store. And about 4 or 5 minutes before that bus was due to leave, we saw the most hugest fat lady get off that bus and start off back to them 2 3-hole privies. She had on a yellow dress, had orange and brown flowers all over it. She had one of them Carmen Miranda hats, had bananas and apples and grapes all sticking out of the top of it. She had about a number 6 wash bucket sized purse on her arm. And she was going to be the first one to hear that loudspeaker system. We watched her real good. Well, we give her about a minute and a half to get her settled in that pink privy. And woo! That fat woman comes screaming out of that thing. She came out of there like a bee in her drawers. She was trying to pull her drawers up with one hand, dress it down with the other, and hold on to her hat too, and hang on to her purse, and she threw that toilet paper right out of the air. And it was hanging on one of them bananas in her hat and stringing along beside her. She come flying up that path, bumped into that gum tree, bounced. I'll just have to yell, I guess. Bounced off that racetrack, tripped over that hound with the mange and the infected ear, and just kind of drove herself in one of them tires that was hanging on that fence. That old dog, he looked over there with that skirt up over old Martha White drawers hanging down around her knees, and he commenced to bellowing and hollering. He thought he'd treat a coon. That bus driver was crying, shut his eyes, and was trying to get her unstuck from the tire she was stuck in. My daddy got to laughing, and he tripped over one of them hoses out by the gas pumps and fell face first and killed 6 of them chickens that was a-strutting around there. And me and Dammit Ray set off to running. Mr. Green come running out of that store, and he grabbed up a 1x4, and he jerked up Dammit Ray by the straps of them overalls, and he whooped him, beat him, turned him upside down over one of them log truck wheels and started whooping on him. And I was crying and laughing, and I seen my daddy coming, so I quit laughing and started crying full time. And I ran over to Mr. Green and said, Mr. Green, don't beat Dammit Ray no more. I'll tell you what happened. We had run them wires back down to them 3-hole privies and put them speakers down inside that hole. And we gave that fat woman about a minute and a half to get herself all settled, and Dammit Ray snatched up that microphone and hollered in there, "Come on, lady, move over to one of them other holes. I'm trying to paint down here." Okay, I got another mic if this one quits. Our next act is called Blackbeard and his Motley Crew, and after looking at him, I would say very heavy on the motley. Captain Blackbeard and his Motley Crew.